What if I told you that most men unknowingly sabotage their own presence every single day? If you're tired of being overlooked, dismissed, or feeling like you don't command the respect you should, stay with me because we're going to fix that today. We're going live. We'll do it live.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
Thank God it's Friday, folks. Looking forward to that weekend, man. How about you guys? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're ready to relax this weekend. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer, and I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about leveling up and getting better with women is that it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Have you ever walked into a room and felt invisible? Ever feel like people, especially women, don't really respect or respond to you the way they should? Do you feel like you're lacking the kind of presence that real men naturally seem to have? This isn't just about confidence or being an alpha. It's deeper than that. The world has conditioned men to weaken their presence through soft socialization, bad habits, and outright misinformation. Most men are unknowingly acting in ways that destroy their frame, presence, and the ability to lead. And worst of all, the more you try to be nice and seek approval, the less attractive and respected you become. I'm going to break down exactly what masculine presence is, why you might not have it, and how to develop it fast. By the end of the stream, you'll have a roadmap to shift how you walk, talk, and command attention without trying to prove anything to anyone. Now, before we get into all that, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. And guys, if you are enjoying this, drop a comment. If you have any questions, drop a comment too, or just drop your favorite emoji in the chat. It doesn't matter. All that kind of stuff boosts us in the algorithm, and it helps put this in front of more men that could use this information. But if you do find value in any of this, do consider sending a super chat. That supports the show probably more than anything else. All right, what is masculine presence, guys? What do you think it is? We're going to establish the concept and make you guys realize why you need to develop it. Okay, so you got to understand. We talk a lot about confidence in the space, how important confidence is in being a confident man, and how women respond to confidence the same way men respond to a great pair of women's breasts. But it isn't, your presence isn't just about confidence. All right. It's a deep identity. It's who you are. Okay. Confidence is kind of surface level, right? It's surface level. This is one of those things where you can fake it until you make it. You can act confident when you're not really confident, right? But having that presence, that actual dominant masculine presence, it's about who you are at your core. You have to develop this as an identity. So you act this way as a part of a habit. You just do it without even thinking about it, right? Muscle memory. So this is one of those things where you can't fake it. You might be able to fake it in the short term, but you have to develop it into a habit, right? So it's about being grounded in your masculine identity. You have to believe it. You have to be in alignment with it. That's one of the reasons why I wrote the second book, Psychology Paradigm. It's a part of the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence series, which is something that we're all working on in conjunction with RP Thor, right? But I wrote that book because what I realized is, we talk about frame a lot in this space, but a lot of guys aren't internalizing it. They're not making it a part of who they are. A lot of guys are faking it until they get into their next relationship, and then they fall back on old programming. Like, this is about programming yourself to have it as a part of your paradigm, have it a part of your subconscious. So you do it without thinking about it. Okay. That's the goal here. We want to, you have to be grounded in your masculine identity. And the only way you can do that is by aligning your subconscious with it. Dominance versus domineering, right? A lot of people, they hear the concept of a guy being a dominant man and they immediately go to he's domineering, right? So he's controlling. And women will like thrash against this and be like, we don't want that. We don't want a domineering man. Well, I agree. They don't want a domineering man. Okay. You can be dominant without being domineering though. Okay. Masculine presence, it's not about being loud or aggressive. Right. It's about, this sort of goes into like boundary setting, right? Boundaries are about you and what you'll accept, what you'll tolerate. It's not about them. It's not about controlling them. Right. These are the rules that I've set for myself. And if you can't follow the rules, well, then you're just not going to be a part of my life. Right. But you can do whatever you want. Right. That's up to you. But if you want to be around me, these are the rules. Right. It's not about being controlling. A controlling person is you can't do this, you can't do that. This is I don't accept people who do this. Right? You do you. So, and you could set those types of boundaries and not be loud or aggressive about it. Right? Part of that is about projecting certainty, competence, and control. Like if people can tell that you have an air of certainty about you, if you are competent in what you do and people trust your ability to, set the tone and lead and get things done, they'll want to follow that lead, right? And then you'll have this dominant presence. People will naturally gravitate towards that. Part of that, though, is your body language, right? How you carry yourself. A lot of guys don't realize how important their body language is. They don't realize, especially with women, 95% of what they're getting from you is in your body language and your tone. The words coming out of your mouth is like the last 5%. That's why if you get in an argument with your wife, and it doesn't like she's not even listening to the words coming out of your mouth. If you don't have control of your emotions and you're yelling at her and you're like, if I just yell louder, she'll hear me better. It's not that she's deaf, right? She's ignoring the words coming out of your mouth because your body language and your tone tell her it's something completely different. And that's all she's paying attention to, right? So your body language, your voice tonality, your energy matter. Okay. They matter more than words, especially when you're dealing with women. Okay. People can actually feel your energy and intent before they even hear what you say. That all comes from your tonality and your body language. Now, most other men are terrible when it comes to picking up tone and body language. They are more geared towards listening to what you have to say. So if you have clear, articulate language when talking with men, you're probably going to be fine. Right? It's women that really are paying attention to the subtext. They're not listening to the words, right? So if you're going to be good with women and have that dominant presence in your relationships, that's something you have to work on. You have to work on your body language, your tonality, and your energy, like how you're presenting yourself, how you're carrying yourself. A strong presence often means slowing down, right? Like if you find yourself getting flustered, agitated in an argument, and next thing you know, you're sort of like, you're speeding up your words or whatever, and you're trying to flusterly get out what you're trying to say, and you're having a hard time articulating what you want to say. That comes across as insecure. It's not even, like I said, it's not even about the words. It's about your tonality and how you're saying it, right? So if you're going to have a stronger presence that people are going to pay attention to, it often helps to slow down what you're saying. Get really calm, right? Slow it down. Change the pacing. Speak with deliberate pauses. that extra pause for effect is important because people will hang on that last word. You understand? Hard to do that on social media. We're live on TikTok right now, guys. It's hard to do that on TikTok because people's attention spans are so short. It's hard to take those pregnant pauses for effect on, clips that have to be less than 30 seconds long. But we could do that sort of thing and articulate that in long form content like this. Moving with purpose is also important, right? Deliberate movements. Like, if you ever watch, when I'm working with my clients on body language, there's a video that I like to share with them. This guy, he's really big in the men's self-improvement space. I think he's got millions of followers on YouTube. He goes by Alpha M. He has a really good video on masculine body language that I like to send to my clients just to give them that visual of, things that they can work on. And one of the things he talks about is like when you're walking through a store, walking with a sense of purpose, right? Don't meander. I can't stand people in the store that meander. They're just sort of do through the store. It's like, don't you have stuff to do today? Like, this is your enjoyment, is just casually and leisurely walking through Walmart. Get out of here. Stop it. Get in, get out. Walk with a sense of purpose, right? You don't want to be too hurried, but you also don't want to be too slow either, right? It's a very deliberate action, right? When you're sort of moving with a sense of purpose. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in today. Do be sure to follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms and some of the bad ones. What's up, guys? I'm on YouTube right now. Head on over to my YouTube channel. The link's in my bio. While you're in the bio, get my book, okay? Guys, follow me on social media. I'm on all the good platforms. Get on the email list, guys. list.comeonmanpod.com and get my free ebook, She's Made You Weak. It's all about the betatization process and how attraction tends to erode over time. That betatization process is something I learned from a really phenomenal book called Practical Female Psychology, right? Like, I didn't invent this stuff, Anyway, one of my clients, he's read my books. He's now reading Practical Female Psychology, and he all of a sudden had an epiphany when he was reading about the betatization process. I'm like, we talked about that in week 3, bro, of the program. But I'm glad that it's clicking with you now. But every guy who reads that She's Made You Weak has experienced this at some point. Okay, it's a subconscious process that women do to men. They don't even realize they're doing it, and it causes attraction to erode over time. She starts losing respect for you, and then she either cheats on you or dumps you and moves on to her next best option, and then she starts the process all over again. If you don't know this is happening to you, you're going to fall victim to it. Your relationship's going to erode, and she's going to lose attraction for you, and then she's going to cheat on you or leave. So how do you defend against it? Well, you got to know what's happening in the first place, right? So get the ebook, go to list.comeonmanpod.com for that. And then, guys, if you want to work on this yourself and try to turn your relationship dynamic around, I explain how to do that in my book, Get Her to Fuck You Again, which is available in all formats. You can find all my books at books.comeonmanpod.com. But let me play a commercial for that, and then we'll get back to the topic today.
Are you tired of the dead bedroom? Wondering what happened to the passion, the connection, and the spark? Well, here's your answer. Introducing Get Her to Fuck You Again, a red pill guide to fix a dead bedroom, now on Amazon. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about real strategies that work. If your wife has stopped being intimate with you, it's not because the love is gone. It's because the attraction is gone. And that's fixable. This book will teach you the skills to lead your marriage, rebuild your confidence, and become the man she can't stop thinking about. 3 reasons to get this book. 1. It breaks the cycle. You'll learn how to stop doing the same things that are killing her attraction and start doing the things that reignite it. 2. It's practical and proven. With clear, actionable steps, you'll build yourself into the man you were always meant to be. 3. It works for men like you. Paul Bauer has helped hundreds of men just like you fix their dead bedrooms. And now, it's your turn. Don't let another day go by feeling frustrated and disconnected. Go to Amazon right now and buy Get Her to Fuck You Again. Read it, apply it, and watch your marriage transform. The connection isn't gone forever. You just need the roadmap to get it back. And this book is it.
Indeed. Who's in that chat today? We got Ray Leyland. Good morning, everyone. Thank God it's Friday. Nurse Chick's in the house. She says, good morning, gentlemen. Happy Friday. Nurse Chick, she gets one of these.
So naughty.
She's so naughty.
I'm going to come.
I am. Yep. Hey, Brother Ed's in the house. Shreddy Eddie. Happy Friday. CW says, morning, gents and Nurse Chick. John says, good morning, y'all. And then Shreddy Eddie sent a $10 super chat. Die hard is better than try hard. if you say so. Ed is a beer club brother. He sent a $10 super chat. He automatically gets bumped up to the next level, which is the $20 booty shaking video.
Super chat was see you there. Shake it, dance without a care. Send it love from everywhere. Groovy beats we all can share. Your support is so divine. Moving closer to the line. Thank you, you're the best. Party on, we never rest.
All right, guys. So we're going to talk about 3 core components of a strong masculine presence. Now, if you guys read Thor's book, A Dominant Masculine Presence, which my book, Psychology Paradigm, is a part of that series. Thor's book is the original one. He lays out 7 skills of a dominant masculine presence. They all start with the letter P. You have like physicality, psychology, power, and was it problem solving, stuff like that. So my book is on the masculine skill of psychology paradigms, right? So that's the idea behind all these books. We're all supposed to be writing about one of the 7 Ps. But to keep things short today, we're going to just go down to three components, okay? Now, these all don't start with the letter P, but one of them does. Physicality, okay? Physicality is a part of one of Thor's 7 Ps of a dominant masculine presence. And a lot of people, you hear physicality and you hear, you just think like fighting, being able to like handle yourself in a fight. That's part of it. Not necessarily all of it though. Because a lot of your physicality is also your body language, right? Your body is your presence, your posture, eye contact, how you walk into a room, how you carry yourself. All that is a part of physicality, right? If you don't control how you move, you are not going to be able to control how others perceive you, right? And like I said, body language is huge when it comes to how people perceive you. If you're a kind of guy that sits around like this all the time, people naturally feel an insecurity from you, right? And it's your body language projecting that. If you walk around with your hands in your pockets all the time, that also comes across as insecure. If you sit in a chair and you cross your legs like this, right? Like this, TikTok, you cross your legs like that. It's a very feminine way to sit. And a lot of people will sort of get this impression that you don't really have that dominant masculine presence when you sit that way. A more dominant way to sit is where you have your legs out, right? You take up space, right? You man spread a little bit, right? This is one of the reasons why lifting weights, right? We always talk about going to the gym, lifting weights in the space. Lifting weights isn't just about muscles, right? If people see someone with a good physique that's in shape, that they automatically are given a little bit of respect because it takes a lot of effort to have that kind of, physique. It takes a lot of work to put that in. People almost always look at that with a little bit of, respect and admiration. Okay. So going to the gym, working on your physique is a part of your physicality. Now, one thing I like to tell guys in the space is that the bar's never been lower. The bar's never been lower, right? 75% of people out there are overweight and obese, right? So if you are just not overweight, you're already in the top 25% of people. So just not being fat, I'm probably going to get kicked off of TikTok here, but just not being overweight automatically puts you in a category that's judged a little bit better, right? That's a part of your physicality. So at least start there. Okay. We can't all look like, well, I mean, I guess we could, if we put that kind of effort and work in, right? We can't all look like The Rock, unless we get on the sauce, we get on the trend bologna sandwiches and work out tons and watch our diet. we all could, right? We all have the capability of doing it. But you don't have to go that far. Just at the very least, try not to be overweight. You're already going to be doing much better than most people. Mindset and frame control, becoming an emotional center. This is, I think, one of the hardest things for guys to master, right? And even then, I don't know if anyone's truly going to be able to master it, right? We are human at the end of the day. We have emotions. Certain things trigger us, and we're not robots, right? So having an element of emotional control is really good to work on and try to become like good at that. But just, it's okay if you realize that you're not going to be perfect with it, right? But it's the hardest thing for men to do, man. We're supposed to be these rational beings, but I think guys get so flustered and so angry so easily. And when you're trying to point that out to them, like, hey man, like you need to take a step back and like work on that. Like, man, it's so hard for them to get out from under that, especially if they've been having like this anger control problem their whole life. So hard to get out from under that, right? But when you realize that if you don't get a good handle of that, other people will be able to control you much better, right? People are more easily controlled when they don't have control of their own emotions. You understand? Like your wife will be able to push your buttons and manipulate you because she's able to make you pissed off. She's able to make you feel guilty. She's able to make you feel like whatever to get you to do what she wants you to do. That's how women manipulate men all the time. If you can control those emotions and your reactions, you're less susceptible to her manipulation. And then she'll actually have more respect for you. It's an interesting dynamic. It's almost like a paradox, right? She's trying to manipulate you, but she really doesn't want to be able to. And the way she's able to is by getting you in your feelings and emotions, right? But if you can control that and not react to her, but respond to her, she'll have more respect for you. It's fascinating how that works. But the moment a woman or another man could shake you emotionally, you lose your presence. You lose your presence and you lose their respect. Okay. So this is why it's important to get that under control. Some tools with that is agree and amplify or indifference. Okay. And this is why those tools put controlling your emotions and your reactions in your hands, right? A woman tries to manipulate you or she tries to test you in some way, and you have these tools in your toolbox like agree and amplify or indifference. She's not able to manipulate you, right? She's not able to get you up in your feels because you're showing her like, hey, like I'm not taking you seriously, right? Those are very excellent tools in your toolbox to maintain your frame controls in those types of situations, right? And you'll find that the best leaders and high status men rarely react emotionally, right? You'll find that they tend to be cool cucumbers, crisis hits. They're very calm when they're speaking. That's why you'll see like world leaders when like war breaks out, most of the time they give speeches in the camera in front of the camera, very calm, cool, very deliberate, because that tonality that reassures the populace that they've got things handled, right? There's a reason why they do it that way. Could you imagine if any president was like totally flustered and they're like, I don't even know what's going on. They're crying and stuff. Like you wouldn't trust their ability to lead this country. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, right? You would be like, what is up with this guy? He's acting like a little bee hatch, right? Vocal tonality and commanding speech. Like I said before, your tonality and your body language matters. It's all a part of the presence that you're projecting out there. So your vocal tonality and commanding speech will help you if you can get it into a place where you're very steady and reassuring when you talk. You're going to command that attention and respect from people, right? So this is where one of the things that Thor recommends in his book is to actually speak less. Speak less. I have a hard time with that because I am a blabbermouth. Which is helpful for podcasting, but it's not that good when you're trying to have a dominant masculine presence, right? That's one of the reasons why Nurse Chick and I get along so well, because she doesn't talk at all. So I'm like, okay, blah, 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 just run my mouth. But I see this in meetings. Right? Like in the corporate world, you'll see this in meetings. There's certain people that speak with slow, deliberate certainty in a meetings. They get to their points, they make their points, and then they stop talking, right? Then you have people that run their mouths trying to sound more intellectual and important than they really are, and they're really just spinning a bunch of nonsense. Have you ever been in a meeting like that where someone's just like, they're running their mouth just to make it sound like they're doing more than they really are? Like that is annoying to me. And that if it's a dude doing that, it's clear that they don't have a dominant masculine presence, right? So speak less, but when you do speak with impact. Okay. That's going to help your presence. Your pace, your tone, and your delivery will make or break your presence, right? Like I said before, if you're speaking too fast, if you're speaking too much, if you're saying a bunch of nonsense to try to make yourself sound, more important than you are, people tend to dismiss that. They're like, man, listen to this guy, right? Listen to this guy run his mouth. But if you only speak when you really have something to say, and when you speak, you're not projecting your voice too much. A good example of this, if you guys ever watched pro wrestling, is Jake the Snake Roberts, right? Jake the Snake Roberts had a way of, he would talk really low. He would talk really low. He would talk really slow. And he would talk really deliberate. And one of the reasons why was because if he talked slow and low and deliberate, it drew in the viewer. It almost made them stop and listen more, right? Because he's talking so low, they're like, wait a second, what? Like you have to almost slow down and listen to someone who's talking like that. And he was perfect at it. He would cut these promos and he would look at the camera and it was almost like he was staring into your soul, right? And it's because of his pace and his tone and how he delivered those promos that really drew you in and what made him such a star performer back in the 80s, right? Forget all of his cocaine problems. It was the tonality, okay? The pause and command technique to get anyone to listen, okay? So listen to this. What is the pause and command technique? It's simple, but a highly effective way to make people stop and listen when you speak, okay? It leverages silence and deliberate speech to project authority and presence, all right? So here's how it works. You want to pause before you speak. Instead of rushing into a sentence, you want to pause for a brief moment before you start talking. This signals that what you're about to say is important. Listen up, right? it's almost a pattern interrupt. If you think about it from an NLP's perspective, you're used to someone running their mouth and talking and keeping the conversation going, but then all of a sudden there's a pause. That pause causes you to stop for a second and listen in carefully, right? A lot of you guys who are listening to this on the audio platform and driving in your car right now, a lot of this is you're mentally going in and out of what I'm talking about, right? You're thinking about other things, then you come back to it. But when I pause for that second, it draws your attention back to what I'm about to say. And that's the pattern interrupt, right? That's neuro-linguistic programming. And that can also work when you're speaking like this. That's why you have that pause. It causes people to stop for a second and go, wait a second, he just paused. What's going on? Right? People naturally pay attention when there's a silence before speech. Okay. So instead of saying, hey guys, I want to talk about something really important today, you might want to try pausing for 2 seconds, make eye contact, look around the room at the people you're about to talk to, right? This would be good in a board meeting, right? If you have to give a presentation and they're like, all right, Paul, get up, give your presentation. You got your PowerPoint up there. Just make eye contact with everyone in the room for a second. Take it all in. And then take a deep breath. And then what I'm about to say could change how you handle every interaction from now on, right? Now everyone's listening. Now you've got a captive audience, right? You're going to want to slow down and lower your voice. Like I talked about with Jake the Snake Roberts. You want to speak slower than you normally would. You want to lower your vocal tonality at the end of sentences. You want to avoid filler words like and like to maintain control. I am terrible at that. Do as I say, not as I do. All right. So here's an example of a weak sentence structure. And I'm guilty of this. Okay. So yeah, I think like being a confident guy is really important. A more commanding way of saying something is like this. Confidence isn't something you try to have. It's something you become. Right? That's more commanding, the way that's saying, right? The other one is very not very sure of what we're trying to say. You want to pause after key statements. So the same reason why you pause at the beginning to grab that attention, pausing at the end of key statements also grabs attention again. It makes people sort of think on what you just said a little bit. So after delivering a key point, you want to pause. This forces people to process what you just said. It also prevents over-explaining. If you find yourself telling someone something and then you feel like you have to follow it up with more explanation, that actually weakens your authority. It weakens your authority. So instead, say what you're going to say and then just pause and let them reflect on that. Let them process it a little bit. Okay. So for example, a man, instead of saying something like this, a man who controls his emotions is more attractive because women feel safe around him. And that's important in relationships because women seek security. Okay. Instead of saying that, I could say a man who controls his emotions is attractive. Do you see, I paused there before I said is attractive. Oh, women feel safe around that kind of man. That's why emotional control is not negotiable. You see, it's got more of an impact when I add those pregnant pauses in there. Got it? Got it. Okay. Guys, drop a thumbs up emoji in the chat if you're finding value in this stuff. Drop a thumbs up emoji in there, would you? Oh man, we've got let's see here. Dodger's in the house. He says, let's fucking go. Beach says, I can't control it. My wife triggers me all the time. Yeah, damn it. Beach, I just dropped a video talking about if you can't explain what's going on in your relationship without referring to your wife, you're operating in her frame. Go watch that. Is Glenn Lawrence still on the trend bologna sandwiches? I think he is. I think he is, Johnny. I'm not sure though. John Egan sent a $5 super chat. He says, becoming lovingly, I think he means detached, helped me immensely with controlling my emotions. Yeah. Being lovingly detached in your relationships is huge. So hard to do. He's a beer club brother. He sent the $5 super chat. Let me bring that back up. He sent a $5 super chat, which brings him up to the $10 Bouncing Bubs video because he's a beer club brother.
Thank you for the super chats. Movies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
All right. Thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. All right. Oh, let's see here. Glenn Baloney. Thumbs up. Yeah, there we go. We got people watching. Hey, Joey, what's going on, man? Over on Facebook. Head on over to the YouTube channel, man. It's much better over here. Guys, consider getting in beer club. You'll notice that the two guys that sent super chats are beer club brothers, so they automatically their super chats go much further. They get the funny videos without having to super chat as much. Beer club's a good group of guys, though. It's not just about getting a discount on super chats. It's about guys swapping notes, guys who have been where with guys who have gone through what you're going through. Okay, if you're going through a lot of crap in your life, a lot of relationship issues, maybe you just got divorced, maybe your wife's not banging you anymore, whatever. Maybe you're on the dating circuit again. Maybe you're in your mid to late 30s, or you're in your 40s and you're back on the dating circuit again, and it's a completely different world now. Get in beer club, man. Swap notes with the boys, guys that are studying this stuff, guys that are going through this. It is so paramount for men to connect with other men. That's what I created beer club for. It's an outlet for men to get with like-minded men. And then we have monthly calls. Our next call is going to be on the 27th, but the real value is in the Telegram community. So get in beer club, go to beer.comeonmanpod.com for that. And then guys, if you're really struggling in your relationship right now, your wife's not banging you anymore, it's been months or even years since you guys have been intimate with each other, and you don't want to throw all that away. You've been together now for 10, 15, 20 years. You still love her, but things aren't good right now, and they haven't been good for a while, and you want to turn that around. You want to avoid divorce. Book a free call with me, okay? Go to call.fixdadbedrooms.com. All right. We're going to talk about the 5-step masculine presence framework. Okay. 5 steps. Improving your masculine presence in 5 steps, guys. So the first thing is self-image. Okay. How you see yourself determines how others see you. This is a big reason why, if you guys do get in beer club, you'll find me harping on people about negative self-talk. Negative self-talk kills your self-image more than you realize. You might think that it's playful comments, that self-deprecating humor is good, whatever, but you'll find that you start to deeply believe the bullshit you tell yourself. Right? If you tell yourself you're not good enough, you tell yourself you're broke all the time. If you tell yourself women don't like me, if you tell yourself, like one of the guys in beer club, just a good example of this. One of the guys in beer club months ago, I would say maybe even 6 months ago, self-described himself as a guy who violently disgusted women. He was like, I don't understand why I violently disgust women. If you tell yourself that, you're going to walk around being creepy. And of course, you're going to violently disgust women, right? Well, that guy completely changed himself. In December, he decided he needed to go hard on the dating circuit. He was feeling lonely. He had a moment of weakness. he reached out to an ex and he realized he shouldn't have done that. And so he decided, damn it, I need to quit being, stuck in this pattern, and I need to go hard and go out and be more social and whatever. So he went hard on the dating circuit. He went in the group. He started like asking questions. He started like, hey, these are my pictures. What can I do better? Here's my bio. Here's my dating app bio. What can I do better? He started doing all this stuff, working with the boys in beer club, completely changed things around, started getting dates like crazy. Now he's got a girlfriend, right? And he's had this, had this girlfriend for a month now. You know what I mean? And so now he's like sort of operating, now he's asking questions about relationships, like how to keep that attraction going. You know what I mean? It's interesting, right? But a lot of that was how he was seeing himself, that self-image, right? He was 6 months ago, he saw himself as a guy who violently disgusted women. And then he changed how he saw himself and how he carried himself to being more of an attractive guy on the dating circuit, right? Just in a couple of months by swapping notes with the guys, right? Most guys have an internal beta frame and they don't even realize it. And a lot of this comes from societal programming, right? Disney fairy tales, listening to what women say they want when it comes to relationships, reading stupid blue-pilled relationship books like Love Languages, right? Society telling you happy wife, happy life, all that kind of stuff has given you this internal beta programming in your subconscious. And if you want to have more of a dominant masculine presence, you have to undo that programming. You got to reprogram that. Okay. You have to start believing, right? This is what I talked about at the beginning. You have to have that mental alignment, that subconscious paradigm alignment that you're a man worth respecting. You have to be in alignment with that. You could cognitively, right, know that, hey, people should respect me. But if deep down in your heart of hearts, in your subconscious paradigm, you don't believe you're worthy of respect, no one's going to respect you. Okay. That's why the second book is here. It's all about reprogramming that, right? Link in the bio, guys. The next piece in the framework is the command the room technique. Okay. Never walk in like you're seeking permission from anybody. When you walk into a room, don't act like you have to have an invitation to be there, right? Own your space. Act like you're supposed to be there. Act like you own the room. Okay. Stand tall, move with a purpose, and scan the room. One of the things that I did with Nurse Chick the other day, we went to this really fancy gala, right? We went to this really fancy gala. We dressed up, and it's funny because Nurse Chick always wants to dress up. She's got all these fancy ball gowns and stuff like that, but there's nowhere out here. We live out in the cow pasture, right? We live out in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere out here to wear any of that stuff, right? There's no black tie events really. So the closest thing is the big hospitals and healthcare practices around here. They will actually throw big balls and galas with black tie because, they're doctors and stuff. They'll go to that kind of stuff. But even at those places, you'll still see the cattle ranchers wearing, like I saw a couple of cowboys wearing tuxedo tops and their best blue jeans. You know what I mean? Like that's how it is out here. Well, anyway, we went to this big gala. Nurse Chick's dressed up. I'm dressed up fairly nice. I don't have any suits or anything, but I had a, nice dinner jacket on, and, I was dressed as I would say Grand Junction formal, West Coast, Colorado formal. And we went there, and Nurse Chick, I could tell it was the first time she had ever been at a big gala event like that where people actually dressed up. And she was like a deer in the headlights. God bless her. And so I was like, we need to act like we're supposed to be here, right? So I told her, I invented the story, and I told her, I go, okay, you ever see James Bond? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're secret agents. We need to act like we're supposed to be here. We need to blend in. We need to own the room, and we need to look for, this guy who's trying to start the next World War or whatever, I made it a fun experience, but that's how you want to walk into a room, like you own it. You want to own your space. You want to stand tall. You want to move with a purpose. You want to scan the room as if you're like looking for someone important, right? Right. Part of that is commanding the room, acting like you own the place, right? Mastering indifference and presence with women. Here's something you got to understand, like high value men, quote unquote, they don't chase. They don't chase. She's either on board or she isn't, right? There's no reason to chase. And women will subconsciously test you, right? We call these shit tests. Your job is to pass those tests, right? And it's only a test if you fail it, right? Women do this. They don't even realize they're doing it. And if you don't pass, all of a sudden something clicks in her head. Like, this guy, he's not acting the way I was hoping he would act. Right. And now she starts losing respect for you. Okay. Indifference really helps in that regard. Like if something she throws at you, you act like it doesn't impact you at all. Like almost like you brush it off, like whatever. That's one way to pass those types of tests. Another one is a green amplifier. We talked about that earlier. I like that one a little bit better. It really depends on the situation when you'll use it. A green amplifier is good because it turns her test into an opportunity for playful banter, which is just a good way of flirting, right? But if you're not quick on your feet and you're not as quick-witted to come up with stuff like that, then indifference is the next best thing, which is you just let it roll off your chest, right? Social proof and hierarchy awareness. Presence isn't about isolation. You need strong male alliances. It's good to have a good group of brothers, right? That's one of the reasons why I created Beer Club, is so that guys have an opportunity to connect with other guys like that, right? It's a good reason to get in Beer Club. But you'll find that being respected by other men increases attraction from women, right? If they see that you're a man that other men respect, women are naturally like, okay, yeah, I can see that, right? These men respect this man. Because between other men, respect is something that men sort of bestow on each other. We see that you're an accomplished guy. We respect you. That's kind of like a big kudos type thing, right? Long-term leadership, being the man that other men respect. So your presence shouldn't just make you attractive. It should make you a strong leader. These are some of the skills that it behooves men to develop, leadership skills, right? It's one of the reasons why I talk about extreme ownership in psychology paradigm, because those leadership skills don't just help you in your romantic relationships. Like women do want a guy who's a strong leader in his relationship that, makes decisions. He's assertive. He doesn't take any of her crap. He doesn't take what she says seriously, right? She can't get her way with him. She kind of likes that kind of thing, right? But you'll find that when you work on those leadership skills and you apply them in all areas of your life, you're going to do better in work. You're going to do better in your career, right? You're going to do better in your social circles when you're more decisive and you sort of set the tone and lead in all areas. When, you'll find that people respect you better, right? Leading it's the number one sign of a true masculine presence, right? If you're the guy that's not just sitting back following everyone else's, following what everyone else is doing, following the herd, you're the one that's actually making decisions. You're coming up with ideas yourself. You're taking things and running with it. You'll find that other people want to follow your lead. If people are following your lead, you are commanding that respect and that presence. You understand? That's the number one sign of true masculine presence, is like, are people following your lead? All right. That's what we got today, guys. Hopefully that helped. let's recap a little bit. Masculine presence is not something that you fake. It's something that you become. It is something that you can start to sort of fake it until you make it. And the thing about faking it until you make it, there's some arguments in the space. Some people are like, oh, you can't do that. Like, that doesn't work. It does work. And the reason why it does work is because you acting as if starts creating the habits, right? It's the same thing as affirmations. That repetition and putting like strong emotion behind it starts to reprogram your paradigm. Well, the same thing happens with your physical habits. If you start making your physical habits a habit, right? Working on your body language, working on your tonality, modifying it until it's now a new habit, it becomes a part of who you are. A great example of this is he hasn't been on Dragon Ship in a while because I think he's busy working like 2 jobs, trying to, bank up a whole bunch of money with a side hustle. But Mike Steele from the Dragon Ship, if you listen to him talk, he speaks very deliberately, very slowly. He has a very deep voice. He wasn't always that guy. He worked on that. That's something that he worked on, and he's worked on that for years. And now it's just a part of how he talks. If you meet him in person, he talks that way. And that's because he's developed it, and it's probably started off as a fake it till you make it type thing, but he actively worked on that kind of stuff. So now it's a habit. It's a part of who he is now. Okay. So you can fake it for a little bit, but you can't fake it forever, right? It has to become something that a part of you. It's got to be a part of who you are. Take one action step from today's stream and implement it immediately. Right? Take one thing. I'm going to challenge you guys to do that. Take one thing that we talked about today. Could be your body language. It could be how you move. It could be your vocal tonality. It could be anything that we talked about today. And start implementing it and start practicing it. Okay. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And you start with the nose, because if you start with the tail, it's going to taste like shit. And you're not going to want to finish. Okay. And just remember this. Okay. The world responds to strong men. Make sure that you're one of them. Okay. All right, guys, that's all we got. Tune into Rule Zero tomorrow. I'm going to be hosting. I saw a clip making the rounds from the TV show Love is Blind, where a woman left a man at the altar because of his beliefs about Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ community. So we're going to be talking about politics, your frame, and how it impacts your relationship. Then tune in the Dragon Ship right after. I think Glenn Lawrence is hosting. I'm not quite sure what the topic is, but I think Glenn's hosting. Other than that, tune in Monday. I'm going to be talking about how red pill isn't destroying relationships. It exists because men aren't happy in their current relationships. Red pill is not destroying anything. Okay. If men were truly happy in their relationships, they wouldn't even be seeking out the red pill, would they? We're going to be talking about that because I found one of the videos that was sending people, sending me traffic on one of my other videos. The title of it was "Red Pill is ruining relationships," right, or something like that. Like why women hate red pill, or something like that. And it just reminded me of this old Archwinger article in the Married Red Pill that talked about how red pill wouldn't even exist if men were happy. Like the red pill exists because men aren't happy, which means women aren't doing their jobs. So we're going to talk about that on Monday. Should be a fun episode. Let's see here. Any other super chats? No, I don't see any other super chats. All right, guys, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And thank you for the guys that sound off in the chat today. I appreciate you. If you guys are watching the live or watching the replay, drop a comment below. If you guys are listening on Spotify, drop a comment too. Thanks for the super chats, guys. I appreciate that. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get on the email list and get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. Okay. It's free. People get confused by that. Sometimes they'll send me money. You don't have to send me money. Okay. Just if you go to the form on list.comeonmanpod.com, just put $0 in the address field and then you'll get the PDF. Okay. Get my books. I have all 3 of my books available at books.comeonmanpod.com. That'll take you to my Amazon authors page, and you can get all the books in paperback, hardcover, Kindle, or on Audible. Join the beer club, beer.comeonmanpod.com. It's a good group of dudes. It's for men only. And then, guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one, do book a call. Go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com. Let's see. Anything good in the chat here? Sure. Thank you guys for sounding off in the chat. I appreciate you. We will see you guys tomorrow on Rule 0.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.